Hey everybody, welcome to Form and Function day number 26. You have made it to a heavy day. So we've got light reps and heavy weights. I have a set of 30-pound dumbbells, a single 20 and a single 20-pound kettlebell. So we are going to be doing some Turkish get-ups that I'm going to be doing with the kettlebell. So if you have a dumbbell, or if you don't have a kettlebell, dumbbell totally works fine. So I'm going to run us through everything that we're going to be doing here in a second, but let's go ahead and get warmed up first. So I'm going to have us start at in a downward facing dog. Spread those fingertips nice and wide, drive your hips up and back, activate deep through the core. Pedal out those feet, drop one heel to the ground, straightening that leg, and then bend the other knee, and then the other side. I have been loving how I've been feeling based on the different exercises and workouts that we've been doing. So as you've probably noticed, kind of minimal focused muscle set days. I mean, we've had a few, but a lot of full body, really deep, heavy, big foundational muscle groups as far as the legs, the core, the back. And I'm definitely feeling it in a good way. So I hope that you are too. All right, go ahead and bring your body forward into a plank position. Elbows tuck in tight. Drop into that plank. Make it good. Make it tight. Make it focused. And then inhale, push back. And then let's drop in again. Kind of try to round through the back, almost like you do with a cat-cow. Or I guess that would be your cat pose. We're never really going through the cow pose. Push back. And then one more. Tighten your core, round through. Perfect. All right, go ahead and move to your knees if you would like, and you can rotate through your arms like we will. Otherwise, I want you to just rotate to the side, bring your right arm up, back into a plank position, rotate to the left, bringing your left arm up. We'll go 5 each side. Plant those hands nice and deep. Open up high through the chest. Lengthen through the spine. Grab deep into the core. So figure out how to work that body, how to keep the flexions in your trunk, and find rotation and movement through your shoulder while holding flexion and support through the shoulder girdle. All right, and then drop down and back into your child's pose. Take your right arm, thread it under, put it back. Take your left arm, thread it under, and put it back. Okay. So the rest of our warm-up, we are going to be going through each move. We're going to start off with a Turkish get-up. We're going to be going through the full get-up. In our build series, we did a lot of kind of stacking on the full get-up. So there's different little pieces if you want to go back and practice. Or today, if instead of getting the full get-up, you would like to just stop at whatever point and practice on either the top side, the middle side, or the bottom side. That's totally up to you. So a Turkish get-up is getting up off the ground from lying on your back all the way to the top with weight. Okay, so if your left leg is on the ground, straight, slight angle, your right knee is going to be bent and your right arm is going to be holding weight. Depending on how this move feels without weight, you could stay with no weight, obviously, for today. Set your left arm out at an angle. So we're lying on the ground. Our arm is fixed, holding the weight, no weight, but pretend that it is. And so your body should already be flexed in. So I'm flexed and set. So if somebody were to come try to push me over, I'm sure they could, but they'd have to work at it. So that's what we want. Flex the body in the place already, and then we're going to move from there. So you're going to sit up, push into the left arm, the left elbow, and the left foot. Bring your left hand behind your hip. Drive the hips up. Okay, so you have kind of like our starfish position from the other day. Now you know why we have been building that in. Lift your left foot, tuck it under. You're going to stack. Okay, so that right arm's going to stay right up over the shoulder. Then you're going to swing your right leg in, step high, Drop the left leg back, open the right leg out, plant your left hand, slide that left leg back under, drop the hips, elbow, and then lower all the way down. So with our weight, we'll do 2 more. We're going to be going 3 each side. Let's practice the other side. Right leg out, left leg is bent, pack into that left side. Make sure you're engaging the core. Tuck in, sit up, slide that right arm back, push up off the hips, slide that right leg under. You're going to swing the left leg around, stand tall, right leg back, open your left leg, plant your right hand, slide that right leg under, plant your hip, and roll. So these are not to be done fast. Nothing really is to be done fast. Even if you're not holding weight or lightweight, really dig into each rep and connect with what's going on. What can you utilize and use, and how can you build from the core and the trunk to get where you're going? Okay, next up, this is where I'm going to attempt to use my 30s, and we're going to do a squat press. So hands on your elbows or on your shoulders, elbows out wide. You're going to squat down, trying to get your elbows to the knees. So get those hips nice and low and press up overhead. We're going to do 5 reps here, okay? Next up, we're going to do a single leg deadlift. I'm going to use both of my 30s for this, and we're going to go 5 each side. Okay, so hinge forward. Make sure you're doing all this with me without weight. It's going to help add into your warm-up. Okay, level off those hips, especially if you're holding heavy weight. Switch to that other side. We want to keep a flat back and a really locked core, pushing up through that glute that's planted on the ground. All right, next we're going to have a row to T. Okay, similar to how we kind of warmed up a second ago with our twisting plank. Again, if you want to stay on your knees, you're going to be holding your 1 dumbbell. This is where I'm going to use my 20. And you can just row and open your hips and press. Stay on that knee if you need to. Totally fine. Otherwise, you'll plant and plank. Row the elbow in. The weight's going to come tight into the chest. You're going to press up. And then we're going to come all the way back down. Then twist again. Same side for 5. Then we're going to go to the other side for 5. Pull and press, rotate back to the ground. So you should have a heavy enough weight that you're not able to pull it, swing it out wide. Okay, I see people try to swing that arm up and rotate out that way, but we're tucking and pressing. So it's a row and a press. Then, just because I think it'll be nice, get rid of the weights for a second, we're going to do 20 jump squats. And then we're going to do 20 touchdowns each leg, so 40 total. Just getting some twists, rotation, movement, and a little bit of heart rate. Okay, let's get started. So, Turkish get up first. We're going to take our time. We're not in a rush. I have no idea how many sets we'll get. Even more than 1, who knows. All right, so I'm going to start on my strong side. Just kind of get myself geared into the move. So right arm holds the weight. Right leg is bent. Left leg is at an angle. Dig into that heel. You want to try to keep that foot on the ground. Lift the hips. Slide that knee under. Stack. Different with weight. And then stand. 1. Tuck it back. Open out. Plant your hand. Slide in. Drop. And drop. There's 1. If you got the kettlebell workout the other day where we did knee pull to a low lunge and stand, this is also a little piece of that. Or that was a little piece of this. So a lot of the other things that we've been doing have been building us up to be prepped here. I don't like to do a ton of these, but I think it's extremely beneficial to check in, make sure that you can support weight and support your back and get up off the ground. All right, you're going to set your weight down and then switch it to the other side, back around your head. All right, so left arm holds the weight, Left knee is lifted, right leg out straight. Grab deep into the core, press into that hand, lift up, tuck the knee under, rotate your leg forward, stand, step back, open, drop the hand, slide the leg under, hip on the ground, roll back. 1. So good for the core. So good for the back, those deep foundational muscles. You can get into a whole Turkish get-up club out there. Lift. Some of them can lift other people. Super heavy weight, sloshing pipes. I mean, go for it if you really get into it. This is fun enough for me for today. There we go. All right, 3 each side. Now we're going to get that squat press. Only 5. Staying heavy. You're going to have to use your core flexion from the glutes to get those arms up. 2. 5. Not 1 rep too little. All right, single leg deadlift. I guess we're still holding these. Square off the hips. Hinge forward and press up. If you can, keep from touching the ground with that leg as you come up. Go for it. Make sure your knee and toes are tracking. 4. Your toes should be straight ahead. And 5. So you need to watch and see if your foot is rolling out. So I'm enjoying going barefoot. I can tell even a little bit more how my stack is. How am I stacking up? 3, I want to try to keep my hips parallel to the ground, my lowest position, and my back flat. 5. All right. Almost done with our heavies. Okay, we're going to do our row to T. Make sure I didn't forget anything. All right. Dig deep into that core. Pull the elbow in. Press up. Make sure you get your hips rotated all the way back around before we set up the next one. 4, 5. All right. Switch it over. 1. I want to try to get my shoulders, hips stacked parallel to the wall at the top of my press. 4. 5. Whew. That last one. All right. Take a quick child's pose. And then let's hit up those jump squats. Here we go. 4. 5. 18, 19, 20. All right, touchdowns. I was sore from these the other day. It's 5-minute AMRAPs. $13, keep that back long. Those hips driving low. $19, 20. They creep in on you. Whew. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm going to start on my second side for everything this time. Turkish get-ups. Left arm, left leg, right leg out. Tuck in through that core. Check into the body. Make sure you're activating. Not just swinging things around. You're in control. Watch your pelvis. So keep the core to not lose that neutral pelvis. That's 2. Lift, tuck, stack, and stand. Keep it pressed. Don't get sloppy. Nice job. That is something I notice a lot, is that people can start kind of losing the hold overhead with a bell or a weight, right? So keep that lock. Got to press your wrist strong. Creates a really strong wrist, or it helps develop a really strong wrist. Crunch up and then stack and lock through your armpit and shoulder blade, right? Your elbow isn't flaring out wide at all. Hopefully, it shouldn't be. Stack here. So you're using your back and core, and even how you roll down and roll up. 2, lock it in, open, set. That arm should be stacked. I think ideally, we're supposed to be looking at that kettlebell, that arm that's raised. Then we look ahead, press, stack and look. All right, nice job. All right, see if I got all 5 again. Use a lot flexion under the rib cage. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, single leg deadlifts, 5 each side. Knee and toe, line up. 4. Let that knee soften. Press up through that glute. 5. Pack into the back. The lifted leg is flexed as well. 5. Okay, we're going to do that plank row to press. Starting on that second side. It's a totally different burn, totally different fatigue, going heavy. My heart rate is not that high at all, but my arms are shaky, my core working hard, and I am sweaty. Tuck it in. 2. 3. Figure out where you're pulling from, supporting from, and pushing from. Second side. Feel in control. 4 is that shoulder stacking up over the wrist at the end. Nice work. Good timing. I'm very excited. We're going to get a third round. All right. Let's hit our fun jump squats. Come on, work on that vertical. 19, 20. Touchdowns. Nine and 10. 10 to go. Try to line that knee and toe. Drive through that heel. You got it. 8, 9, 10. Oh, so easy to get sloppy on that as you progress. Whew. All right. Take a little second. And then we're going to go. Last round. I'm going to start on my weak side again. I liked how that felt last time. If you want to switch back to your first side, go for it. We're going to finish on this round. So one side will get first start twice anyway. All right. Left arm up. Left leg up. Bent. Tighten in. Deep through the core. Scoop. Going to have to really focus this round, I hope. You're tired, fatigued. We have to constantly remind those core, back, trunk, foundation muscles to stay flexed. Three. Trying to find those hips. Stay neutral, pelvis neutral. Stability in that low back. around the back of your head to the other side. Even if your weight's not super heavy, pretend that it is. Okay, right arm up, right leg bent, punch it up, hike those hips. Keeping that arm straight. Lift, tuck. 2. Control that roll back. Can feel those obliques, my lats having to work super hard. Control the work for that low back. All right. All right, check that one off. I'm actually looking forward to checking this one off. Whew. Use the legs. If you're going heavy enough, you have to get a solid squat to get that press up. Whew. I'm obviously always ready to get rid of those. All right, going back. My more unbalanced leg is my right, starting there. Remember that trick. Find a spot on the ground that's not moving to help with balance. 5. The goal is not touching the ground. The goal is what's going on with your core, your low back, that hinge, your glute. And 5. Sorry if you have some background noise. I think we got a jackhammer going on next door. Hey, all good, all good. The sound of progress. All right, we're gonna do plank to rotation and press. I actually tried to do this during their lunch break, but I guess I didn't time it right. 2. Here we go. Tuck, press. 3. 4. Good. Roll it in tight. Core and back and those glutes. Here we go. Other side. Tuck and press. Make sure you're twisting back to the plank and then find that plank position. 3. Every time. 4. 5. I'm very impressed with our timing. Granted, they were low reps, but never know. Heavy like that. 20. 10. Knees and toes line up. 2, 1. All right. Let's kick it. Finish it off strong. 4, dropping those hips. Focus more on your hip drop as opposed to touching the ground with your hands. Lengthen your back. Lock into the core. There's 11, 12, You got to use the flexion of those thighs. 18, 19, and 20. Awesome. Woo! All right. Take a second. Set your hands behind your head and just stand in space. Get your breath. Hang on how high it is. All right, drop your hands. We're going to do something a little funky. Just try to take a little self-scan. So just stand normal, natural, where you are. Don't adjust anything. And then look down at your toes. And I want you to see if you can tell if your toes are even. If one is more slightly rotated than the other, or if they're straight ahead and even. So even me, I knew what we were doing. My right toe as it is at a little slight angle from my left. Okay, and these are just discrepancies and variations, helpful to know so that if you do have any sort of injuries or more like pain, tightness, stiffness, issues in hips, knees, ankles, even shoulders, it starts at the bottom. So there's that, your stance. Now I want you to see if you feel like you're rocking in, your ankles are dropping in or rotating out. Okay, another thing to be conscious of. So if you're in or out, those are deviations. You have a little bit of discrepancies in your calves. Okay, and then from there you want to check out your knees. It's a little bit hard to see. You can also use a mirror, so I'd suggest redoing this in front of a mirror. So see if your knees are tracking with your toes, right? So they may be falling in a little bit. Usually what's going on with your knees is that can be an aspect or function of what's going on with those hip joints. So if you're tight in your hips, you may be opening your toe so that that leg can come out because maybe you are tight in your glute or weak in the glute. So then take your hands, see if you can find the front of your hip bone and the back. Okay, depending on how big your fingers are or how big your hips are, you may not be able to find them, but just try to palpate there. Again, this is helpful to do in front of a mirror, but if you can, from your normal position, just see, what do you feel? Do you feel, if you look down at your hands, does one look a little bit higher than the other? So again, that's a structural deviation. I think I've told some of you guys, all right, let's go ahead and stretch now. Go this way, maybe further away from the noise. Go into your hip flexor stretch. So my pelvis is tilted. I have one leg that's a little longer than the other. So I can tell based on looking in the mirror or doing my little palpations if it's a little bit higher or out of sync than normal. And then I know I need to do this stretch right here a little more. So those are really helpful things. Just start experimenting with your body, figuring out what deviations you might have. If you're not sure how to fix it, you can either reach out to me. It'd be a good time to get your hamstring. Maybe talk to a chiropractor or physical therapist. Massage therapist can usually help. Maybe it's tightness in your muscles. A lot of times these workouts will also help depending, right? So you have to build from the inside out. So you want to fix alignment before you're building strength. All right, switch to the other side. Get that hip flexor stretch. Pull that back hip forward, the front hip back. That's why whenever we were doing all of our pigeon, or whenever we do a pigeon, I talk to you a lot about making sure the pelvis is square to the ground because we don't want to reinforce our misalignments. One side I can get down a little deeper than the other because I have tightness or weakness that's compensating for joints that are a little out of whack. So your body does find ways to manage its discrepancies, but it's helpful to be aware and know what problems could arise later from it. All right, we're going to finish off with our yogi squat. And if you want some extra twists and turns, I'm going to let you go after it today. Get on the roller. I've been big friends with the roller recently, my back and glutes for sure. It's all really good tension and heat and muscle build. All right, extend those legs, stretch over the legs. Great job, you guys. We have this week to go through new exercises, and then after this week, we get to start over our last round from last week. All right. Have a great rest of your day.